Good morning. Today we will talk about the vocabulary words for the short story Never Too Late, and then I will also talk about the other tasks that you have to do. So today is May 20th, 2020. It's a Wednesday. You do have a lot of tasks to do, but remember you have until Friday, May 22 to finish everything. So you have 3 days to finish everything. For today, in this teaching video, I will say the words and you will repeat it after me so that you know how to say the words. We'll discuss the meaning of the 4 vocabulary words, so the lesson won't be that long because there are only 4 words. I will show you the vocabulary review questions that you have to answer. On your own, you will read the short story Never Too Late. I will post this on Microsoft Teams, and you have questions to answer about the story, as always, so I know that you understand what you are reading. The last task is to interview your classmate. So you can type your classmate's answer, or you can go to Wed-Thurs.com and record your classmates' answers. So basically, after you talk to your classmates, you write down what he or she has said, and you tell me their answers in Wed-Thurs.com, and then you email me the audio recording after. So for this task, interviewing your classmate, I can talk more about that later and explain that task to you guys more in detail. So the first thing we will do is pronounce the words or say the words. So the first word is boss. Boss. Can you say that word? Repeat it one more time. Excellent. The next word is so. So. Can you say that word? Say it one more time, please. Good job. The next word is stay. Stay. Repeat that word, please. Repeat it one more time. Fantastic. And the last word is frustrated. Frustrated. Can you say that word? Say it one more time, please. Awesome. So, boss. Ooh, this got cut off. Uh-oh. Let's go back. Sorry guys, I went a little bit ahead. So the boss, you can have a female boss or a male boss. Her face got cut off. Ooh. Okay. Boss is a noun because it's a person whose job is to tell others what to do. So they usually lead the team or the company, and they tell you what you have to do, make sure that you do it right, and tell you if you're not doing something right. So you can say, I have a very understanding boss if your boss is nice. You can also have a mean or rude boss. So in that case, you can say, I have a very mean boss, or I have a very rude boss, okay? Or you can also say, my boss is easy to talk to. That's another way to use it in a sentence. The next word is sew. It's a verb. As you can see, it's an action. You can sew by hand, or you can use a sewing machine to help you. You can say, many young girls used to learn how to sew in home economics class, which I don't think is being offered anymore, but back in the day, people learned this in school, especially young girls. Stay. Another word for this is remain. So if you see the word remain, it also means stay. It's a verb. It's something that you do. It means to continue to be in the same place or with the same person or group for a period of time. Sentence, people stay at home on the weekend to rest. Okay? Like what these people are doing. Right now, most of us are staying at home so that we can avoid the coronavirus and not get it. Okay? You can also stay in the same school, right? So if you've been going to the same school for 5 or 10 years, that means you are staying in that school and you're not moving somewhere else. Frustrated is the last word, is an adjective. It describes how someone is feeling. When someone is frustrated, that person is angry or disappointed or upset. because that person can't do or finish something. Okay, another word for finish is complete. So sentence, I am frustrated because I missed a deadline. I totally forgot about it. Okay, you can also feel frustrated if you feel like, you know, your friend is not listening to you, or maybe your friend said your secret to someone else. Okay, so those are some examples of people feeling frustrated. Another example, when you are older and when you start working, let's say you've been applying to jobs and you haven't heard back from any job, you can feel frustrated. Or maybe you wanted an increase or raise in your salary and you didn't get that, you can feel frustrated. Okay, or maybe you work a lot on the weekends, that can feel frustrating because you are tired most of the time. So let's look at the vocabulary review questions that you guys have to answer. So the first one, if you had a misunderstanding with your boss, what should you do? So remember, misunderstanding, miss is, if you just look at the word miss actually means no. So misunderstanding is another word for not understand each other well. Okay, so I gave you guys a sentence frame, so you can say, if I had a misunderstanding with my boss, I would. What would you do to fix the problem or make it better? So that's what you type here. Okay, is knowing how to sew helpful? Why? If you think it is helpful, you would say knowing how to sew is helpful because you write down the reason. If you don't think it's helpful, you can say knowing how to sew is not helpful because. Okay, so you choose which one is your answer. Either sewing is helpful or sewing is not helpful, and make sure that you write down the reason. The next question is, how do you feel about staying at home because of the coronavirus? Why? So to answer this, you can say, due to the coronavirus, I feel. What do you feel? Sad, angry, disappointed, upset, whatever. You write it here and then say the reason why. Okay? The last question is, when do you feel frustrated? I feel frustrated when. What happens when you feel frustrated? Okay, so these are the questions that you have to answer for the vocabulary words. Now I'm gonna show you guys the questions about the reading. So you have 7 questions about the reading. A lot of the answers for this, actually all of the answers except for number 1, you can find in the reading. I want to talk about part 2. Part 2, you will talk about yourself. Okay, so things I do well. So for example, for me, I can say, it's not I want to do well. I do well in. What do you do well in? Okay, so for example, I do well in writing, I do well in dancing, I do well in cooking. Whatever it is that you are good at, you can write here. Okay, now there are things that you are not good at but you want to be better at it. Okay, so you can say, I want to be better in, let's say, painting, or I want to be better in understanding what I'm reading. Okay, that's an example. Please think of your own example. Now, part 3, remember when I said you have to interview your classmate? So you have to call a classmate. I would prefer you speak to them in English, guys, so that you can practice your English. You have to ask your classmate what he or she does well and what he or she wants to do better. As I said, you can type your answer, or you can record your answers at bookaro.com. So here, if you are typing your answers, make sure that you tell me who you called. So the name of your classmate goes here. These are the questions that you ask your classmate. What do you do well and what do you want to do better in? And you write the answers here. So you can say he or she does well in, okay, do they do well in playing basketball, or do they do well in playing the guitar, or do they do well in baking? Whatever it is, you write it here. And then here, things my classmate wants to do better in. Okay, so he or she wants to be better in fill in the blank, in swimming, in riding a bicycle. Okay, so you finish this by asking your classmates the information. Okay, so if you guys have any question, please let me know. I know you guys have quite a lot of things to finish, but remember, you have until Friday, May 22 to finish everything. The reading and the questions would be on Microsoft Teams, so please make sure you go to Microsoft Teams to open the files. I will talk to you guys on Monday. You have a good weekend.